11 ஆமாம் பெரிய பெரிய எப்படி கொடுக்குறோம் நாங்கள் எப்படி மீட்டிங் வந்து ஆமாம் சார் என்ன அதனால வந்து கொஞ்ச நேரம் படிச்சுட்டேன். மட்டும் பார்க்க ஆரம்பிச்சோம் அவங்க வெயிட் பண்ணிருக்காங்க ஜாயின் பண்ண ஆமா அதான் பார்த்துட்டோம் 1000 something ஜாயின் பண்ணிருக்காங்க வந்து ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணிருக்காங்க சார் இன்னைக்கு எத்தனை நாள் ஜாயின் பண்றாங்க சார் எனக்கு
Yeah, Naren, shall I start?
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம் சார். டாக்டர் சதா சார்,
Yeah.
ப்ளீஸ் ஸ்டார்ட்.
Shall I start?
ஓகே
சார் அங்க சார்
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Sadashivam, Associate Professor from Department of Extension and Career Guidance, Bardiyar University. I'm happy to welcome you all for the second day webinar on crafting learners' potential through career counseling. So, in this regard, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Kaliraj, Bardiyar University, and also the co-partner, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Pichumani from Manonmaniyam Sundaranaar University. In this regard, I extend my thanks to Dr. Venkatesh, the Director, Ek Bharat, Shrashta Bharat from the Manonmaniyam Sundaranaar University. I'd like to extend my greetings to the coordinator for the same program, Professor Vimala, the head Department of Extension and Career Guidance. So, thank you all. So now I take this opportunity to welcome our respected registrar, Professor Dr. K. Murugan of Bardiyar University. I would like to give a brief introduction about him. He is one of the finest and renowned entomologists. When it comes to science, he is never shy or afraid of experimenting things. In his recent achievement, insecticides. As a researcher and scientist, we all know him since past 3-4 decades. But recently, since the past decade, he is also excelling his duty in the administrative task. So, to his credit, he is having a handful of projects and abundant publications. He has won many of the travel grants and have been visited almost many parts of the world. So with this a small and short introduction, I would like to welcome the Registrar of Bardiyar University, Professor Dr. K. Murugan, to offer his valuable speech for the two-day webinar. I welcome you, sir.
கேக்குது, இதுதான் பிளாக்கா இருக்கு, ஆனா அவங்களுக்கு நல்லா தெரியும்.
I welcome our respected registrar to share a few thoughts about this two-day webinar.
Okay, no problem. நம்ம அதிலே okay. Very good morning to everybody. I am very happy to participate in the today's program related to X Bharat and Sista Bharat. It is a very nice program organized by Bardiyar University and other universities like Manonmaniyam Sundaranaar University, Tirunelveli. No problem. And really, it is an excellent opportunity to share the ethnic cultures among the Indian states, including Tamil Nadu states, and their education, craft work, agriculture, lifestyle, important health issues, and also famous poet and their contribution to the languages, contribution to the society, contribution to the nation, and also at the global level. And this program is not only for the teachers. The teachers are taking classes, sharing their experience with the students and others. And also it is a very important issues are how the teacher can be a counselor for the students and to teach to the students, to disseminate the knowledge to the students and the benefit of the students. At this great occasion, I would like to emphasize the role of Indian Tamil poet and their contribution to the society or the wealth of the human being or the well-being of nature or livelihood of the nation is a very, very important. At this context, I emphasize today, all of you know that Thiruvalluvar is a Tamil poet and he is also a philosopher. He is regarded as a cultural icon by Tamils. His most popular work is Tirukural. You know, Tirukural, a collection of couplets on ethics, politics and economy. And you know that Thiruvalluvar his work, Tirukural, contains 1330 couplets, kurals, that is called in Tamil kurals, that are divided into 133 sections of 10 couplets each. The next is divided into 3 parts with teaching on dharma, artha and karma, that is called virtue, wealth and love. And I'm going to quote 2 kurals. The one is the number among 1330 couplets. The one kural that is called, the number is 391. In Tamil is called Karka Kasadara Katpavai Katrabin Nirka Adarku Taha. That is in Tamil kural 391. In English, the couplet says that, so learn that you may full and faultless learning gain, then in obedience me to lessons learnt remain. The couplet explanation, the meaning is, let a man learn thoroughly whatever he may learn, and let his conduct be worthy of his learning. This is the meaning of in English. Similarly, Kural 396 in Tamil, Totanai Turu Manargeni Mandarku Katanai Turu Marivu. It is also a very important kural for in education. The explanation in Vilakam, in English, in sandy soil, when deep you delve, you reach the springs below. The more you learn, the freer streams of wisdom flow. It is a kural, that is a couplets 396. The explanation is, water will flow from a well in the sand in proportion to the depth to which it is dug, and knowledge will flow from a man in proportion to his learning. These are all 2 kural which are very, very important. And it is not only important for regional or national, or it is a worldwide. It's at the global level. The Thiruvalluvar kural is useful. So the another important poet in Tamil, his name is Kaniyan Pungundranar. And who is Kaniyan Pungundranar? Kaniyan Pungundranar, also known as Pungundranar, was an influential Tamil philosopher from the Sangam age. He born and brought up at a village in Tamil Nadu, Sivaganga district. Pungundranar laid down the principle of his vision of natural law throughout the poem Way of Order. That is, he articulated from Pronanuru, that is, says that he articulated Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir, which means, I am a world citizen. Every citizen is my own kith and kin. He said 3000 years before. And also, from the Pronanuru, the quote Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir was several times quoted by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in his lectures. Similarly, our former president, a great scientist APJ Abdul Kalam also, he quoted this Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir in his speech at the European Parliament. So that the Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir says in, I can quote, I can explain in three important points. That is, where there is richness in the heart, there is harmony in the nation. When there is harmony in the home, there is an order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. So our country, even though we have a different cultural diversity, and we can say the unity and diversity is a very important, and also our cultural diversity and also natural diversity and a hotspot, and we have much natural beauty right from Himalayas and also Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats, and also Nilgiri biosphere, so that our nation is one of the extraordinary nation, and it is so that people can enjoy, people are following our traditional knowledge. So traditional knowledge is a very important rather than going for the newer things, so that at the age of now we are facing a lot of problem on pandemic situation of COVID and other thing, so that we need indigenous technology, indigenous medicine to cure this pandemic situation, right from the ginger, pepper, and other clove. These are all very important. These are all originated from our India, like neem, Indian neem tree. It is a great medicinal value. You can use this all ingredients, all medicines, indigenous medicine, to cope with our pandemic situation. So that I congratulate at this juncture Dr. Vimala, coordinator of this program, and all associate, and also our own Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. P. Kaliraj, and also Honorable Vice Chancellor from Manonmaniam Sundarnar University, Dr. Pichumani, and Dr. Sadasivam, and all other associates involved in this program. I once again congratulate everybody, and I am really happy to participate in this program. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your great talk. And good morning, all the participants. The second day is going to, that we are going to start very soon. The classes will be going to commence. I really happily thank our registrar, Professor K. Murugan sir, for a wonderful talk. What has given a beautiful, and that has given a lot more information. How Tamil Nadu poet have contributed a lot to the world, and the world has been given 3,000 years back. How they have been taught the world is ours, the people is ours, all are common. That he rightly quoted Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir. That is a whole. That is I am a world citizen. All the world people are mine. So like that, all the whatever he has given is a really excellent talk. So with that talk, really happy to thank our registrar, beloved registrar, Dr. K. Murugan, for immediate acceptance. So followed that, I also thank our associate professor, Dr. Sadasivam, for offering the welcome address. And today's program is going to address you people that what is the first session is going to give the what is career counseling, how the faculty can equip themselves as a career counselor. The second part, Dr. Dayanand will offer you that how can you make the classroom positive, as well as how can you handle the students in the classroom in a healthy way. The third part, myself will offer you that how the teachers can equip a lifelong learning to understand the recent trends and the future trends to offer a right guidance to our students. And also, I really thank the our Vice Chancellor of Bharatiyar University, as well as Vice Chancellor from Manonmaniam Sundaranar University, and Dr. Venkatesh from Manonmaniam Sundaranar University, that is the director of Ek Bharat Shiksha Bharat. So through that, we'll have through that we'll try to do a lot more program from Tamil Nadu universities to Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh people. Thank you so much for once again and wish you the best. And now I request our Sadasim will offer you the first session. So before going to that, I'd like to introduce our Dr. Sadasim. He's an eminent faculty members. That is a member. He's a fellow scientist as well as the Ramlinga Fellowship. More than 15 years experience in research. He's very much strong in this research. He's published many papers in the Science Cited Index, and also he's a regular visiting professor in foreign universities. And with that, and he is also serving academic as well as the research oriented. Apart from that, he's taking an extension activities to the science field as well as to the arts field. Now I request our associate professor, Dr. Sadasivam, to offer the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Vimala, for giving me a nice introduction about me. So once again, I thank our today's chief guest, Professor Dr. K. Murugan, for offering the keynote address. This is my great pleasure indeed to interact with the faculties and students of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. So I'm much privileged to share my knowledge with you on the topic career counseling skills. So this is me, Subramanyam Sadasivam. I'm affiliated with Career Guidance. In addition, I'm holding this DPT Ramalinga Swami Fellow. So with this introduction, I would like to brief you about today's talk. This is going to be 6-7 different segments. First, I would like to tell you about what is career counseling. What is the definition we can place it for, as well as what are the characteristic features of the career counseling, followed by the needs and benefits of career counseling. Why do we need to know the career counseling and what are the benefits which it could offer? Then followed by counseling process. Though counseling process is a different genre, before getting into the counseling skills, I would like to introduce you a brief concept of counseling process, followed by I would like to talk about the skills, two different types of skills involved here. One is must-have skills for the career counselors and the general or basic skills for career counselors. So in addition to the skills, you should also have to be familiarized with certain techniques. So that will be followed after the skill set required for career counseling. Finally, I would like to highlight you the job roles for the career counselors and how you can do it, okay, how you can start this career counseling process. So this is the thing which I would like to interact with you all. So with this note, let us get back to the first slide or overview. As you see the word career, so though it is a single word, but it's deeply associated with different domains like education, skills, vision, what are your interests, what are the values which we look for, and obviously what are the goals. These are all the different segments which is deeply connected with the word career. If you ask me what is the best definition which I could offer you for the term career counseling, it's a process of understanding student thoroughly and suggesting them a suitable career for him or her. So this is the generic meaning. Obviously, it will help the students to understand or find out their true potential as well as choosing the best path for their success. So with these two definitions, and once we find out their potential based on their capabilities and interest, so that will help them to set up their career path. So these are all the three different definition and characteristics I could place it for the career counseling. Can I have the next slide, please? When it comes to the need of career counseling, what is the need of career counseling? Of course, the career counseling help you to choose the right career, as well as you can get a good decision by having an interaction with the help of counselors. So why we need to do all this? Of course, everyone is looking for a bright future, right? So the decision making is not an easy process. Of course, it needs a lot of help from the family and friends. That is what we are doing it, and we have done it in the past as well as doing it in the present. But because of the thing we are naturally not aware of the career counseling thing. So once we understand this career counseling, we can, better understand our career path. So as well as you can identify your short and long-term goal by understanding the career counseling. So these are all the things will state the need of career counseling. Then next comes the benefit of career counseling. So what is the benefit it's going to offer? First one, you can understand what is your real strength or innate strength, as well as your weakness or shortcomings. Followed by, you can set a goal, okay, in order to yield a better result in future. So if you don't know your strength and weakness, you're never going to think about your goals. Okay. So this way it will help you to set goals. Followed by, once you set up your goal, you can identify the choices related to your career. Okay. So assume you want to be a civil engineer or some computer programmer. That is your goal. So based on your goal, you can you can stretch your choices. So that is the meaning of the point which is mentioned in 3. Fourth one is very much important, the motivational support. Though we excel in academics or career, we all need motivational support to keep going. Unfortunately, again, family and friends indirectly supporting us to get the motivational support. But if the Think Career Counseling gets popular, we will officially seek for some motivational support. In addition, they will also guide you for further education. Like if you're a UG student, with a proper career, by approaching a proper career counselor or a right career counselor, you can aim for your higher studies, like what kind of PG program will suit you, or higher studies like PhD and so on. So these are all the benefits of career counseling. Next one. Okay, as I told you already, career counseling process is a different, or generally the counseling process itself different. This is a altogether a different genre. So before getting that we offered right now. First one is direct counseling. The second one is non-directive counseling, and finally is eclectic counseling. So what is directive counseling? Directive counseling is a method where the counselor is taking an upper hand to interact with the counselee, which means he will suggest, the counselor will suggest what will work and what they can do. It is more like a mentorship. The non-directive counseling is quite opposite of directive counseling, where the person, probably the student or the career aspirant, will summarize his or her ideas, interests, goals, and so on to the counselor, and the counselor here will be, an active listener to help to meet out the needs and wants of the counselor. Eclectic counseling is, a perfect blend of both directive and non-directive counseling. So at times they take an upper hand to mentor. At the same time, when they will also, listen to the needs or desires of the counseling. So this is, basically a mix of the first and two. Next one. Okay, where you can start, the career counseling or counseling thing. We all know that environment is playing a huge role, when it comes to anything, any part of activities, work or personal activities. Counseling needs a safe and secure environment to have an uninterrupted interaction with the client. Okay, it has to be very quiet, calm, and assuring to emote the person to speak out his thoughts, his or her thoughts. So that is the point number 2 also. They have to feel ease, and it should allow them to discuss without any sort of hesitation. Okay. The third one is assurance of confidentiality of the information shared by the student, because the student, they are literally letting out, all their personal behaviors and characteristics and so on. So as a counselor, you have to protect their personal identity. Okay, so this is the third point, which comes under the secure environment, which means the data related to the client should be, safely stored or secure. Okay. Next one, must have skills. Now I come to the main topic of today's discussion. What are the essential skills the counselor has to have? First one is a professional certification. If you want to be a career counselor, in addition to your a core degree, you have to pursue a degree that is related to career guidance or psychology. Depends on which area of counseling you would like to concentrate on. So what kind of degree, what type of degree? At least a postgraduate degree or a PG diploma in career counseling is better suited for a career counselor, an ideal career counselor. Experts in the concerned domain. So this will have an additional advantages. If you are having an engineering background or agri background, max or so on, whatever it is. So the concerned, if you have a degree in some concerned domain, you can be a effective career counselor for that particular target group. Membership. Having a membership in academic or professional bodies will yield you more benefits, but as far as my knowledge, in India as this is a growing field, this membership thing is not a very common one. But still, you can access career counseling related membership in some foreign nations like US or UK. So these are all the must-have skill. The next one is communication and listening. I think communication and listening is important for any type of job. Of course, both written and you have to be excel in both written and verbal communication skills. Of course, in English, you should have a knowledge in writing or revising resumes and cover letters. So that is why you have to be strong in writing language as well. Third one is administering and interpreting career assessment to clients. So until if you don't have a good communication, you will fail to understand or interpret the meaning of career assessment. So you must have the said skills. In addition, you should conduct mock interviews to your clients, the model interviews. So unless if you are not good enough in communication or listening, it's going to be a misery for both you as well as your client. So finally, non-verbal gesture. Communication not always ends in written and verbal. The non-verbal gestures playing a major role in nowadays. Like how to properly positioning your body postures during the active conversation and so on. So these three things are very essential: written, verbal, and non-verbal gesture. As a career counselor, it's your duty to impose all these characteristics to your clients or students. Next one. Therapeutic relationship. What is the therapeutic relationship? Of course, the name itself has its own meaning, therapeutic, which means you should have the curing effect towards your client. So the client should feel very easy and trustworthy towards you. So you have to establish a meaningful connection with their clients using the therapeutic approach. In earlier days, this approach is mainly priced for advanced career counseling approaches, but now it is mandatory even for the basic career counseling process. So you try to develop therapeutic relationship. So why we need to develop therapeutic relationship? Whatever the test, you may try to understand the inner knowledge or inner potential of the client, but still the tests are not suitable enough to understand the worries or their interest, desires or fears and so on. Because test is just a test. We always need a human touch to understand the emotional feelings of the client. Then only you can offer your fullest support and the maximum guidance to the students or clients. So followed by communication, this developing a therapeutic relationship is one of the must-have career counseling skill. Next, defining goals. It is your duty to make the clients to come up with their goals. Otherwise, they come up with something random or they don't even aware of what is the goal and all. So you have to help your clients to come up with a specific goal. Okay, how we could get the specific goal or goal of your client. So it could be done by asking several template questions like what is your dream job, or which job you feel is more perfect for your personality, or just tell me how you will be in the next 5 years and so on. Okay, so these are all, some of the basic template questions which is available in the internet. So this way you can, make your clients to interact with you and let them share their either short or long-term goal with you. Okay. So the final point is client's attention. Okay. So it is a kind of a deeper thought. So you try to get what is more meaningful for them in their life and all. So through goal setting only, you will come to know about all these parameters. Next one. Self-reflection. As I told you, the test is merely a test. So the test cannot always, value the person's ability or mindset or thought process. So it's just a vocational test. Okay, so self-reflection is allowing the person to speak, to express how they feel, how they think, how they dream, and so on. So it is, it is not a big technique. Just give enough space to your clients to talk about, what are they really. So this is what I would like to share under self-reflection. So self-discovery is, that is an extension of self-reflection. Self-discovery is a big word. In the normal day-to-day life, it is very difficult for us to think about self-discovery. But first you ask them to reflect what they feel. That is the meaning of self-reflection. This is mainly important in the advanced level of counseling process, where vocational assessments are not everything. It's merely a tool. Okay. This is the another important counseling skill. This is very important one, understanding the job market. So if you are a career counselor, you have to deal with the dynamics of the job market. There are different domains involved in the job market, as you know, especially volatile period like this COVID-19 pandemic. Nothing is assuring. Everything is unstable. Everything is very bubbly. So this is not a right time to talk about the market dynamics because we are in one of the bad phase. But the good thing is we can also plan for how the market is going to be after this COVID-19 pandemic. So you have to be in close touch with the market thing to get a more info about different domains of the market, as well as you have to well aware of what are the technologies you are coming and going to play a big role in our life, accepting a diversity and so on. Okay, so you must hear of the problem of migrant workers. So we have taken them for granted, but now many industries are highly suffering, collapsing because of there is lack of diversity in workforce. So it is your duty to understand everything, each and everything, the technology involved, the workforce involved, the dynamics of market, and so on. So based on such findings, you have to create the occupational awareness to your clients, which area is going to work after this, after that, in 2021, in 2023. Simply you should have such a long visionary to meet out the conditions. This is another slide which is talking about the emotional side of the person or client. You should have these three things: resilience, patience, and humility. This is a very demanding nature of work. It is very intense because when you listen someone, it's not so easy. You have to put everything to listen that person. They mainly come to you because if they don't get a job, or if they are removed from the job, so they are highly emotionally, mentally unstable. So it is your duty to support your clients, first the emotional side. Okay, make them emotionally very robust, very rugged. Ask them to if somebody is experiencing this emotional trauma, they miserably fail to take care of themselves. So you have to teach something about what is self-care and how it could be done and so on. All right. So there is no degree or techniques which is allowed to develop the resilience, patience, and humility. Through experience, you will develop it. This I already hinted out in the very beginning of my presentation. You have to respect the confidentiality as well as the professional boundary of your client. Confidentiality is not sharing their, anything, any info about the candidate to anyone. Okay, it should be very confined. It's strictly monitored. In case of the next half of the topic, professional boundaries, you have to be well aware of your ethical and legal responsibilities. If somebody is, if some of your client is already working, so you have to understand their ethical and legal responsibilities, and you have to guide them, whenever you are help. Encourage clients' own decision and conclusion. It doesn't mean that as a career counselor you always need to give your own, suggestion or conclusion. You have to help your clients to make own decisions and conclusion. Okay. So these are all the things. I think 6 to 7 skills that is very much mandatory if you want to be a career counselor. That is for both basic as well as advanced level. This is, general skills and abilities. Okay, those are all the must-have. This is, uh, this is waiting in line to, equip. The person has to equip with. You have to be a problem solver, a keen listener and observer. I think the point number 2, which we have already discussed. The third is, a very important one. You have to, develop your efficiency in reading and understanding the meaning of work-related materials, because that is presented in, mostly different terminology. So you must have to develop, efficiency to read the real meaning of work-related contents. Finally, influence of different socio-economic status background. This is all about, again, trying to understand their roots, from which, family they have come in, how far, if, I would like to place an example here. If the student X or Y wish to study, some program here in India or in abroad, but if the family situation is, not promising enough to achieve their, desire, you have to tell, the possible struggles that could come up from his, family side, economic side, as well as societal side. So you have to, also help them to understand the root from which they come from. Okay, so the skills are different, and the techniques, that itself are different, different tool. You have to master yourself in certain techniques. Again, by knowing and, showing your excel in certain techniques, you could be a, a well-known career counselor sooner or later. So first one is aptitude test. So if you are, preparing for some competitive exam, you well aware of what is aptitude test and what are the different domains that is involved in aptitude test. Mostly it is, logical reasoning related questions, some of questions from maths. Deductive reasoning, non-verbal, verbal reasoning, and so on. Okay, so aptitude test is usually, look like, it is generally to test the IQ side of the client. Okay, why we need to test the IQ score of the client or the student? So in order to pick the best, we need to know the IQ score of an individual. So simply by, identifying the competent nature of the student, the counselors usually, conducting the aptitude test. Next one, psychometric assessment. This is another difference idea. The first one is mainly for IQ, and this one is mainly for EQ. That is the emotional quotient of the student or client. There are different psychometric tests available to understand the personality along with the aptitude. Okay, so this is one of the powerful tool of a counselor to identify the innate strength and weakness of the client or the candidate. So based on this, as a counselor, you can suggest the suitable or, an apt career for the client. Next one. So here I place a model in front of you, which is called as RISAC. So this is mainly based on, 6 different things. So it will identify your personality. Some of them are realistic. Some of them usually have, investigative brain. Some of them are very artistic in nature. They are good at, coming up with some art thing like drawing, singing, dancing, and so on. Some of them are naturally interested in social occupation. Some of them having the guts of, coming up with something called as enterprising. And some of them are very conventional. Not some of them, most of them are conventional because they don't want to take much risk and they, still want to play with the available, opportunities. So this model will help the person to identify to which personality they actually belongs to. So I'm just telling you, this is one such tool. There are, so much of psychometric tools available. So once you slowly start to learn or understand all these things, that will be, a good investment for a successful career counseling. Next one. Okay. So far, I thought, I have shared with you the skills and how the general counseling session should be. If you have a question of, okay, how I could start a career counseling session, do I have some fancy rooms or, fancy atmosphere and so on, to where I actually start with. There are 2 ways. Either you can start an individual counseling and a group counseling, where you help the students to develop skills such as, a basic organization behavior, time management, how to develop effective study habits. So this is for, a small level educational students, not for not for. So this way you can start to individual as group that is related to a school level education. Slowly you can extend it to the high school education or, the graduates or postgraduate and so on. So this, as a beginner, this you can't be achieved all alone by yourself. So you need to collaborate with the concerned teachers or the principals or administrators or hardly, to seek help from them. Of course, the parents. So in order to bring a good and effective result, you have to be in touch with these 3 personalities. Next one. Okay, what you can offer? You can offer, you can place the realistic academic background of the student. You can also tell them their career goals. You evaluating the abilities and interest of the students. Slowly you will, test the learned or earned aptitude or some psychometric assessment, how they are performing before and after the session. As I already hinted out a few minutes before, based on the background thing, which background they are coming up from, what are the further educations or training required to sharpen them to achieve their, the goal of interest. So this way, you can start your career counseling, a step-by-step approach. Next one. Job role. Okay. If you want to grow big or you want to extend your network, what are the possible opportunities you have? First, you can work in schools, colleges, and universities. As I told you before that it's a growing thing. I'm not saying it's a new thing. It's a growing thing. It's not so popular, but you have to put all your effort to approach on your own to schools and college and universities, because most of the schools and universities, are wide open to accept, accept the academic intelligence from any individual. So you should be, intelligent enough to approach yourself to schools, colleges, and universities to demonstrate, how you could bring more innovation to the academics of that particular institution. Where your role could be like, you help them to apply for some special educational programs that is, related to academic things. If you are choosing to work with FRM, where you can guide the clients making decisions and careers. Mainly HRs are doing this, but if you having these additional skills, maybe you can compete with HRs in top tier companies. You also help the clients to learn job search skills, because once they join into the place, the growth won't be stopped there. They always wanted to climb up further positions. So you can help them to learn how to search relevant skills that they already have. If the client is willing to relocate or applying for new jobs, this way also you can help. It's not only monitor the existing client. If they wish to go to different place, or wish to apply for a different job, so we can also tell them or inform them what are the positive sides and what are the new things that they need to cope up with. So these are all the possible job roles. Of course, anything can be improved. That is not going to be stable for a long time. So like the same also applies to career. So definitely you will have a chance to improve the career profiling of an individual or your client. So that is improving of career profiling of an individual. This I already told, transition into new jobs or careers, which means the transition is like moving from a familiar place to unfamiliar place. Here the place is not the location, the job territory. Moving from the known job territory to unknown job territory needs a lot of mental effort and flexibility to understand and accept the known and unknown job situations. So you have to help them to deal with such things. Finally, you also have your hand in helping them problems that is happening in the workplace. So these are all the possible job role of a career counselor. So this way, I would like to conclude my today's presentation on career counseling skills. Once again, I thank each and every one of the faculties and students of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh for patiently listening me. And at the end of the session, I'm happy to answer if you have some of the things that is related to my today's presentation. So please
Thank you, sir. I request the participants to bear with me for 5 minutes. The next session is in order.
Good morning, participants. Morning, participants. Yes, today I'm going to offer the faculty readiness, how the faculty should be get readiness for equipping their skills. That is very important because a faculty has to serve as counselor, as well as for that the counselor as well as to understand and the students' future skills and what we want to equip them and what we had to teach them in the classroom. How because now that's nowadays the children, students and also they're very challenging students. Even day to day, every moment is challenging to us faculty members. So in this occasion, we should know that what we have to do actually, what are all the challenges and hazards in front of the people, and what way the faculty has to equip themselves to offer such a timely, needed, and demanded one to the student and to the environment. So for that only we are offering a faculty readiness program. This is a faculty readiness. What else you should be doing? Raja, Naren, okay. Naren, call Naren, Naren. அவங்களுக்கு டிஸ்பிளே ஆகலையே இது. அது அப்படி யார் பண்றது? செகண்ட் ஸ்லைட். செகண்ட் ஸ்லைட்.
Excuse me, ma'am.
So you have to impart the domain knowledge, and you have to provide it. We have to provide the skills to the students in the because the skills nowadays what we are expecting earlier and all we used to teach them in the classroom. So we used to transfer the knowledge from the curriculum to the students. Nowadays, apart from that curriculum, that is what we say that's what we that is teaching of curriculum alone is not sufficient. We have to additionally equip them lot of skills, either the soft skills, or domain skills, or the future skills required to serve in this industry, serve the industry as well as to the world of work. That is very important. And we had to create the grounds to develop certain values among the children. Earlier, there will be a separate hour called as moral science. So nowadays it is not like that because in all the role we had to provide as a faculty. So you had to create a grounds to develop the values among the students. And as a faculty, we should understand one report the truth as well as administering failures. If I am unable to deliver certain things in front of the student, I don't mind to admit that I'll teach you tomorrow because it is a challenging world and the student is coming with a lot of information each and every day because sources to learn. Earlier on all be the only source and book and library. Nowadays if that is everything is available in the fingertips. So once they are coming with the challenging questions, once they want to clear the recent trends, as a faculty, if you don't know the answer, kindly admit that I'll explain you tomorrow. Because ethics and information will create certain values around the children. Once we are unable to know certain things, we can admit that so sorry, I'm unable to deliver. That is what we said. I'll be that what is the delivering tomorrow. So like that, we had to work with the students, reporting the truth, administering failures, and if administering failures, if certain times only it will come, not for every time. It is occasionally only it will come. You have to work among the team. That is also very important. So these are the 21st century skills, the role we had to provide actually. And apart from that, the competency also we had to equip. We should be subject matter expert. You can ask me question, ma'am. Earlier we are not subject expert. That's an expert. We are the subject expert. Nowadays we have to additionally learn certain sources and materials which is supporting the subject more, as well as that on the basis we have to deliver the expert talk to the audience. So that is called as a subject matter expert. And you should be an effective communicator. As a faculty, provide an effective communication. Unless otherwise, the student won't have that ability to learn something. When teacher is struggling in a communication skills, yesterday also I told you that communication is what I'm having the same thing to be shared to the opposite person, the receiver. So as a communicator, a teacher has to provide an effective communication because we have to insist the students to learn spoken language English apart from their local languages. We should be an effective communicator. Then only the students can learn what we are teaching. So that way, the faculty has to take care of their communication level. And you should be an assessment expert. You can ask me question, ma'am, what is an assessment expert? Earlier and now, the people will write, the students will write the exams, and the questions paper will be there. So we'll compare the question paper question and answer how it is matching. And because in earlier and now they had an opportunity to learn from the theories that is that available books. Nowadays the students is getting a lot more information from outside. So on the basis they are justifying themselves and write information to the particular question. In that part also we had to think whether the student is coming and what way he is assessing the answer and the question. And suppose he is coming with one topic, how he is comparing the theoretical part and technical part as well as the real exam. So on the part we had to think, and thus also we had to assess their presence of mind, how they are presenting in the question paper. So like that we had to go the assessment expert with the children, students nowadays. Earlier and now we haven't much expect this kind of information. Every time we had to motivate because this century, this is time. Every students, even the students' age in earlier period and all, ourselves and all, we haven't feel much stress. We haven't mind that we have a stress, and because we that is living in the that is what we say the joint family, that has also made us a lot of motivation. Now the children, the family culture and the role is getting changes. So whenever any average learning child is coming, student is coming, or the moderate learner is coming, or any special children also will be in your classroom. So we have to motivate the students to how to come up. Whenever they find any difficulties, even the faculty can identify easily through their face language. So even in the classroom, we can identify who are all listening, who are not listening. Even that who are not listening, why they are not listening, what kind of factors is distracting them. Everything we can understand. So with that, we had to call the children. Sometimes you can provide that is the next level. Like even a counseling. Sometimes we can provide a group counseling. Sometimes we need to provide an individual counseling based on their requirement. Because a teacher is when the faculty is providing counselor role, a counselor role is giving so what we say the merely a suggestion giver, not the deciding factor. So we had to suggest the students. And last week one student came to my department. The parents and all came. They informed me my child is something deaf and dumb. He unable to hear something and also he unable to talk clearly. But when I saw that student, really, because he's having visually is good, hearing impaired little is a lost, and also he's listening what we are talking. And he completed up to +2. He completed in the normal school studies. So even in the child level, if he has completed the normal school, normal that is a subject. I mean that what we say the classroom method. That is coming in a mature stage in higher education. Definitely, he can able to cope up. But when the parents come to me, immediately started, he unable to hear, he unable to talk. So that's why we are finding that any kind of less level of education, which kind of less capacity job he can do. But once I've started talking with the student, he's really good student. He's having a lot of what is the efficiency. He's good at drawing, he's good at singing, and he's having lot more efficiency. Their parents is asking that he wants to, ma'am, what kind of education I can take in higher education to go for a less competency job. But when I asked the student, he's telling me, ma'am, I want to go on a high competency job. Imagine that how the student, parents' expectation, because parents expecting on basis of their physical issues, but he is expecting on the basis of the mental capacity. Then I told the children, even I also lost 25% of hearing ability. So that and that, but I haven't suffer anything. And also his visually is good. Something he's having a little issues of talking because he's talking, but he's not clearly talking. Then we have suggested that one speech therapy hospital also to go and take training in future. But we have suggested what all kind of studies you can take on the basis of his mental abilities and skills. So, like that, the teacher is to provide a role of counselor as well as motivator on the basis of the student expectation, on the basis of the student's capacity. So, this is all the roles we had to provide. Don't expect there will be a counselor, he will be coming a kind of counselor. It is there will be the counselor is there in the every colleges and schools. That should be a one career counselor. So then only they can, whenever the student is coming, that what kind of program I can offer in that lecture, that's next level. What kind of competency I have. Suppose if I need this kind of job, what kind of competency I should be getting developed. So all those things when the children, student is getting down, they had to come to the career counselor. But that is, I think it will take time. And as a career guidance department, all the faculty will be offering a guidance and counseling because we have conducted a lot more research and we are offering community service to the government school students. So we are understanding the students' ability, student skills, what they are expecting from us and everything. So with that, our regular faculty also can learn certain counseling methods. I think that Sadasivam could be telling to you people how you can improve your level to best counselor. But one thing you have to understand, again and again I'm telling, a career counselor role is a suggestion giver role. You are not supposed to decide the particular factor to the students. We had to suggest them that on the basis of your capacity, we are offering this kind of suggestion. So which you like, you can take. So whenever the student wants to come for counseling, please offer them with a smiling face and what they require. So this is a role we had to provide nowadays. And we should be a curriculum designer also. Somebody will set a curriculum. We will go and teach. In nowadays and every year, students' requirement, industry requirement, and if, competency requirement is getting changes. You have to ask your alumni as well as to the present students. So once they're completing the first semester, they come to know what else will be included in the curriculum. This may be also, if it is good, if it is really good to the students, and this will be helpful to their career, you can also additionally take it as a value-added courses, or skill certificate courses, or industry offering any certificate courses. So like that, you have to be serve as a curriculum designer also on the basis of the industry expectation, employment expectation, student expectation, and the challenges and demanding in the world for the future. And we should be learn a lot of open source learning is available. Now the government is offering a lot more open source learning of MOOC, as well as Swayam they are offering NPTEL. So like that, there is a lot of online courses available. You can suggest them which is good to the students. Available for a paying and non-paid. So on the basis of the student's economic condition as well as the what the government is offering then and there any kind of scholarship and concession. So on the basis we have to guide. So we all should be aware that open source learning availability in the Indian government, any foreign which is offering open source learning free and sometimes. So we had to learn that. And you should be provide a role model for knowledge, skills and values. Because when the teacher is not interested to learn regularly, because I cannot say I completed my doctorate, I completed my MBA in 97. So I cannot say because I completed already, my once again go and learn. It is not a right. Because that's why I told you in the beginning, each and every moment there is a challenging moment in this century. Because that's why I'm telling again and again, the resources are plenty. The students are learning a lot more information from the different ways. So as the faculty also compete with the students. When they are asking questions, we are in a position to answer. We are in a position to explain. So we should be always learn certain things and whichever is needed to your subject, and additionally whichever is going to support your students. So you should be a role model for gathering knowledge and equipping skills, because in our university all the faculty is undergoing industry 4.0 courses, data analysis, big data analysis, machine learning, or robotics, and IoT, Internet of Things, and that is already started. So cognitive load management. So like that, we are whichever the demand, the respective department faculty is learning. Even the interdisciplinary faculty also is learning. For myself, I'm learning what is the machine learning now. IoT already we have learned. Even our department is offering the program called data analytics, and one more program is called as that is Bachelor of Vocation 2 program we are offering in the university, sanctioned by the UGC, sanctioned by the that's UGC. One is a BVOC business process and data analytics, and another program is Bachelor of Vocation Multimedia and Animation. Apart from that, we are offering 2 years program career guidance, and PhD career guidance. So with that, we are offering lot more skill certificate courses also. So once I want to import the skills, so any faculty from the department has to export in the particular subject. I cannot learn all the subject at the same time. I should be specifically expert in a particular subject. So for that, I am learning a lot. So I had to create a values how to, because on time I'm coming to the class, on time I'm entering into the department, and that is once we committed, we had to provide the children. So once I'm unable to come, I have to say that I am unable to come. That kind of information, our faculty has to set as a role model in the behavior, as well as telling something, informing something to your boss as well as to the students. So then only the students will follow in future whenever they is going for a work. So these are all the role we have to provide. And one second. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So what are all the hazards is available, the perils is that what we say the perils is going to be happen when you are performing the role of faculty. That is, we had to provide earlier and all. We have done a teaching and research. We had to provide an extension, because the government was also expecting, and really this extension service will help the students, and this is motivating our students. Example, I'll tell you that my department is running a 2 years career guidance program. Now I told you. So the career guidance student who is pursuing 2 years MA degree, it is a 2 years program, teaching program. The student doing this course and the research scholar of career guidance, they are providing every week, Thursday, full day, they will be going to the government school students and the colleges. They will assess the students' skills. One day they will assess the students' skills and what kind of basic skills they required on the basis of their subject. And another time they will go and offer some psychometric methods to understand their personality level and what kind of job will be mapping to them. So all those things they are assessing. And another day they are conducting on the basis they are offering a group counseling, individual counseling, as well as they are providing some education fair and all they will conduct in the school levels. And when they are going for a college level, they will be joining for conducting of campus placement. And as also they are offering guidance and counseling to the students in the school level. What next program is. So this kind of activities really make the students very happy. So we had to, this is another extension service we are offering, rural and panchayat development. The students will go to the particular office, they will assess what all the schemes government implemented, how they are executing, and they will even sometimes they will go to the village and they will identify whether you are getting that kind of information. If any lackness comes, they will be informing the particular department also. So this kind of activities make the students very happy when they are coming for the colleges and while they are learning the higher education. So provide apart from teaching and also in research activities. Whenever we are taking any kind of major research work, as well as any student who is taking care of PhD research, will ask the MA student to join together to provide certain level of support and assistance to them. So through when they are studying the inside PG courses, they come to know that what is research and how they had to provide. Suppose if they are coming for the research, what kind of activity should be taken. So this is all the way we have to provide. And nowadays, the transaction, creation of content, academic counseling, assessment, what I already discussed. And nowadays, we have to necessarily work with the industry because maximum percentage of people immediately is going for the industry job. From that kind of activities, simply at the third year when the students coming in graduation end, at the final year as well as the PG final year, we cannot find any industry to come forward and select the students. So what we are done, we are signing MOU with the reputed companies, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, Amazon. So we have been already signed MOU. That people will come and offer the whenever whatever kind of skill set is availability. Even they are taking under CSR initiative, Infosys offering global business foundation skill course to the students. Everything is free of cost and they are offering the faculty development program. Infosys, that's what is a BP in Bangalore is offering faculty development program and part of the digital marketing and credit analysis, finance and accounting. So when the faculty is undergoing that kind of, that what is the faculty development program, in turn they will come and teach the children in their particular institutions. So for that, so when the student is going for any kind of even that we are even that's a data consultancy is offering campus to corporate program to the students. This campus to program that is a campus to corporate program will completely that is in teaching the students that how to improve your communication, what is body languages, how to develop your personality, and how to build your resume, and how to attend the interview, and how should be that's what is called as a listening habit. How can you improve the active listener, active contributor? All those things teaching in the campus to corporate. So those things when we are working with the industry, whenever they are offering such a kind of program, it is more helpful to the students while they are going and hitting in the campus place. So we are working with a lot of industries. Really, it is helping a lot. So through that your service, our students are equipping a lot of soft skills and hard skills. Even UPL Technologies offering IoT, machine learning. We have been started here that's in 3 years back. Machine learning and that's robotics. And also they are offering one more program is called as artificial intelligence. So the student who is interested, the computer science student, they are taking care of this kind of program. So in that part, the faculty has to necessarily work with the industry. And that is today in all the virtual world, in the national, international comparison you have. So on the basis we have to work, promote the open source learning to the students. You should have a multilingual competence, at least two language competence. One is your local language competence as well as the global language competence. And multicultural tolerance should be there for the faculty members because we are getting variety of students in the classroom. So variety of religions, variety of state student is coming. So we had to understand their culture. So on the basis we should also know that how to treat the children on the basis. What kind of tolerance the faculty should have. Because my culture is different from other state culture. So when I want to understand the real culture of the particular state, because when the student is coming, so initially they will behave according to that rule. So on the basis I should understand and make them to. Suppose if the things is wrong, we can correct. If the things is right, we can also take care of it. Okay, and also we have to pressure on immediate relevance and problem solving. We had to inculcate among the students problem solving skills and critical thinking skills. And coaching for careers and higher education. We had to coach the children for their career education. Okay. So the challenge is what the faculty is having. Generally, we the faculty will say that students are not serious much. Even we are also getting the same thing every day because they are that, you know. The what the challenge is, we are getting non-serious students. Sometimes the curriculum also is not mapping, and sometimes our assessment method also is not particularly matching to the students' expectation as well as the curriculum expectation. So we are in a position to create a seriousness in the classroom. You had to define the role, achievement of goal, proper feedback. We had to define the role of the students and make them how to achieve what all the path is available. And properly on the basis we had to feedback. Whenever we are having feedback, if the student have done a wrong thing also, you should be counsel them in a right way. Make them to understand what they are doing. We are not supposed to harshly and we are not supposed to make them to feel very bad about their skills. That we are not supposed to counsel them. So you should be properly give their feedback and how to rectify. So that is very important. And value creation already I think. And that is a two different world nowadays, institution to industry. Earlier here we are teaching the student to learn, and there they are expecting production. So the outcome based the student has to learn, and it is a protected zone. There the efficiency zone. They have to show their efficiency. So even in the classroom itself, the student has to develop their efficiency level. Theory focused, they the profitability focused. Here it is an individual competency. The student individual competence help with that. And here the textbook oriented, here that when they are entering into the organization, they had to work on the basis of technology. And here we are talking at the college, they are working they are at the examination board, where they are in the industry for the next level promotion is competitive basis. Then here the individual care, they are the volatile components. So there are two different worlds, institution to industry. So we have to make the students in the institution itself to get ready to work in the industry. So that is why we are offering campus readiness. I mean campus to corporate readiness. One program we are having very successful model that is completely supporting by Tata Consultancy and the okay. So the teacher also has to equip themselves the critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration across networks and leading by influence. You should have an agility and adaptability, and the contextual learning is very important. And we had to initiate the entrepreneurialism among the students because some maximum people are going for a job, and we had to make some people should make a business and startups should be organized. So entrepreneurialism, we had to provide that kind of environment a teacher and the college has to provide to the people. Effective and oral and that's a return communication is very important. I already discussed. Okay. So what the learning available at present? That is a national training laboratories in applied behavior, Alexandria. The worldwide they are offering. The teaching others is 90%. This is a learning pyramid they've been given. Practice by doing is 75%. That is a discussion among the group is 55%. Demonstration 30. Individualism 20. Reading 10% and lecture 5%. So like that it has to. Okay, wait. And that is in the self-esteem not necessary. Just talk about the skilling journey. You have to discover the skill, what actually you have. On the basis, you have to start continuous learning. And sometimes we need a deep skilling and reskilling also. Because nowadays the industry is telling we have a 5 million people are, for example, I'm telling 5 million people are working. Among the 5 million people, at least 2.5 to 3 million people has to reskill. Then only we can able to compete in the world of work. The same thing is going to be happening in the education side also. So as a faculty, every time we have to discover our skills. We have to map the present. On the basis, we should start learning. And on the particular, suppose if you started learning field or any kind of or in multiple field also we can be deeply skilled. So then only we can able to deliver a good talk to the students. how to attain this new kind of skills, enabling collaboration with the industry and academic interaction. And whenever you have to watch the government what kind of decision is taking on the part of higher education to make the digital talent for a competitive advantage. Okay. So this is the way we had to attain the skill. We should be an effective contributor. There is a one concept is called as a meta learning. First, we have to identify that ourselves is how far we are a good learner and able to talk and about learning the process. Even the same thing you can apply to the children, students also. Some students will say, "Ma'am, I'm an average learner, I'm a poor learner." You can tell them that knowing yourself is a really good learner because some they are not exploring, they are not applying the particular knowledge into learning. So make the students to understand that they are also good learner. And we had to create an idea factory in the classroom to get the various ideas from the students to make the effective classroom and effective talk. Enterprising attitude you should have it. Always you should make it as an energetic as well as a. Sometimes you can also have a excellent discussion with the classroom for a certain good things to the students. And encourage the students, encourage among the students. Right argument and amiable argument is good for them to come with a solution. And think, pair, share. That is ensuring to the students to build up learning in it is a very good one. You have to make the students in the classroom to learn them in the group. That is very. So it will be more effective. They can discuss each one from solution and embed learning behavior. Any hypothetical and investigation observation on the basis we can also make the students to learn, stimulate, use the learning habits. Okay, that's a success. Whatever the success model is available for stimulating the students, that you can be used in the classroom. But one thing, whenever you are using any kind of techniques, understand that it is not supposed to make any sensitive issues or other kind of issues. Okay. So and also celebrating best for your skill as well as student skill. If you find yourself really good at communication, really good at explanation, you should appreciate yourself. So then only we can be an energetic and positive person to encourage others. So this is the way we can contribute. So sorry, this is a, so this is all we will be helping the faculty members to provide the best role in the classroom and make the students to learn very well. Thank you so much. Anybody is having any question, you can be put forth later. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. Dayanand sir
Yeah, I'm here.
to carry on the session.
Okay, so is the slide visible now? Naren, I think I can present, right?
Yes, sir. We can present, sir. The slide is visible.
Yes, Naren. Okay, thank you. So, good afternoon, my dear friends, and it's happy to see you again. So, once again, I welcome you all for the second day session of the today webinar on crafting learner potential through career counseling under Ek Bharat Shastra Bharat. The topic today I am to present is classroom preparation for career readiness. Okay, so before getting into the core area of the topic, that is career readiness, so as we are the faculty here, I like to utilize this opportunity to share something on classroom preparation or creating classroom environment. So in this context, I have divided my today's presentation into three small parts. So the first one, we will be seeing on creating positive environment. As the second part of the presentation, we'll be seeing understanding the learning environment or creating learning environment. And in the final part, we will look into career readiness skills. Okay, next slide. Okay, so now getting into the first part. As a teacher, we need to get familiarized to create positive environment. So in a classroom, actually, we have to create a positive environment. So for that, actually, there is a model called PERMA model, so which shows us the way to create positive environment around us. So this model was developed by Dr. Slickman, a professor at University of Pennsylvania. So he has developed the model to create positive environment. Here in PERMA, the P stands for positive emotion, E denotes engagement, R stands for relationship, that is positive relationship again, and M for meaning, and A stands for accomplishment or achievement. So this positive emotion, this P, positive emotion means one should look for the well-being of self and others. That is, one should not only seek positive emotions, but he also has to experience it to give to others. And the next one is E, that is engagement. So this says if a person engages himself wholeheartedly in your work he does, that will create the sense of well-being. So it's all about how well-being can develop through engagement. So the next one is R, that is relationship. So it's all about having a positive relationship with other. And once we have a positive relationship with all, again it gives a sense of well-being. And the M stands for meaning. It's all about finding meaning in your life, because a teacher, you really need to understand the meaning of teaching and what to say. So we have to do that wholeheartedly. So actually, that's what expected from us to do. So we have to understand the meaning of what we do and do it wholeheartedly. And the last one is A, or A means it stands for accomplishments or achievement. So this will gives us a sense of driving force for well-being. So in our profession, being as a faculty, seeing our students in a successful position will actually gives the sense of achievement to us, and actually that in turn will provide us a state of well-being. So according to this Mr. Slickman, so once we are into all this PERMA, so we are working for this PERMA PERMA, automatically we as a faculty can able to create a positive environment in a classroom. So next slide. Okay, yeah. So actually this is the second part. So previously I had divided my presentation into three parts. So first one is just the creating positive environment, and this one is second part, which is about creating learning environment. So as a faculty, to ensure learning in classroom, it is for us to create the learning environment first. So if while saying creating environment, I am sure that even as a faculty to attend this today's session, we also would have created our own environment to attend the session today. So that is, you would have planned according to make yourself free to attend this program. So those efforts you have put will comes under creating environment. So even if we require creating environment, we need to understand that. So we have to give enough space for our students also to get prepared for the classes. So there comes the topic of creating environment, and here in this our next 5 to 6 slides, just let's just refresh how we can create the environment for learning. So we all have the common understanding that a society can be developed only if a quality of knowledge exists in that society. So in turn, this quality of knowledge will depends on the environment provided for the recipients. That is the environment which we provide for the students to learn. So only if we provide the environment for the students to learn, they will be getting they will be learned, they will be getting knowledge, and because of that knowledge the society can be developed. So actually what it connect is development of the society can be through the environment which we create for a student to learn. So in the classroom, basically we have different types of students like fast learners, slow learners, auditory, kinesthetic, etc. But it is our responsibility to ensure that all learners are coping up with the subject. So how this can be done? It can be achieved only by creating opt learning environment for them. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so when to create this positive environment. I'm sure that we all would admit that usually this positive environment, that is this positive learning environment, should be start from the very first day of an academic year, so that the students could be molded into how they needed to be. But we also have to take care that we have ample time. So instead of jumping into it on the first day itself, we should not force everything on the first day itself. We have to take ample time. So taking time is always justifiable, because so if we put everything on one day, so we know the saying that too much of everything can be good for nothing. So there is time and we can take ample time, but the effort has to start right from the first day onwards. Next slide. Yeah. So after when, now it's time to know how to create positive environment. So actually this is very simple. Yes, if we could make a student feel that he is a valued part of the group, then automatically there frames a positive environment. So also, instead of getting into the subject or syllabus in the very first day itself, we can go for some relation building exercise. On the first day, we can go for some relation building exercise. As a faculty, as well we being a facilitator, actually we need to look for uncovering the syllabus instead of covering the syllabus. So uncovering the syllabus will also create interest in the students. Uncovering the syllabus in the sense, we can give one or two points, one or two basic case studies. So case like instance to the students and create an interest in the student. So if we could create an interest in the students over this subject, so this uncovering of the syllabus will help the students to create their interest. So it's always better to take time to make the great first impression. Let them know that actually we value each student for what he or she has to offer. So this creating impression of valuing students can be done by some team building activities. So that actually gives each person a chance to contribute in the group. So in common, this building of positive environment generally fall into three categories. So as mentioned in the slide, it's like good relationship, clear communication, and trust. Next slide. Okay. So here, let's see about the good relationship. So as seen earlier, we need to get into positive relationship, not only with students. So here it's saying that. So in good relationship, we have to be in good relationship. It's not only with students, but also with parents as well our co-faculty, and that too right from the first day. So it is clear that we as a faculty not only need to develop good relationship to the students, but also have to extend to the parents. So the first step in getting good relationship with student is so to bring them out of their comfort zone. So to create a relationship, first we have to take them out of their comfort zone. So how this is made possible? So there may be ways like let students know about you. So I mean, so you express yourself to them and ask the students say about them to the others. So this can actually be done by preparing some fun icebreakers, like sharing as a teacher sharing your vacation stories and ask the students to share theirs. And in this such a way, the relation can be created with the students. And the relationship with the parents can be created by sending some letter or calling the parents over the phone just to inform the achievements of the students or the performance and etc. Just have a positive relationship with the parents will also help you to create a positive environment in the classroom. And as mentioned in the first point, so having a good relationship with faculty are always really a great resource for us. So this actually will help us to get updated with the knowledge by sharing our thoughts to our fellow faculty. So what we are doing now. So I'll be sharing some thoughts to you and you'll be sharing yours to others. So actually this sharing of thoughts between the faculty will also create a positive environment. Okay. So the next condition which we are to see on creating positive environment is clear communication. This can be made possible of two ways: speaking their language, and another is start from the scratch. So speaking their language, actually it is a strategy for us to reach student level. So this can be by using some humors, memes, which they are very much interested nowadays. So So we can also use the strategy, like we can use this memes to communicate the classroom rules and regulations. So by using the meme, we can communicate the students about how they have to behave in the class. So those types will be easily understood by the students and they will accept it easily. Also, if we could take some bit extra effort, that will take us to a long way into the relationship what we made to the students. Okay, so now the next strategy is starting from the scratch. So it's all about not to judge your students and expecting them to know all the bases. So this is because we maybe have our own way of teaching style and our expectation should be different, but we should not expect that the students also able to know what we expect from them. So what to say, so it is that we have to say them what we expect of them. Actually this can be time consuming, but the building relationship really will pay off. Next slide. Okay, another way of developing this positive environment is through trust. So that is having trust on your students. So again, how this can be done, how we can create a trust on students. So the trust can be by letting your students make decision. It can start from doing some simple things like arranging classroom layout and by getting some new project ideas through brainstorming. So letting the students take initiative. Let the students take that their classroom is in their control. So by giving some opportunities for students in this types actually will create a trust for them towards the faculties. So it is just like make the students feel that they help to create their own environment. Then the another way of developing environment is by trusting in technology. That is, trusting the technology actually helps you to create positive environment. So even you can post some event photos and updates for parents in social media. And this technology is also a great way for engaging students when there is no regular classes. So as of what we're facing today because of this COVID situation, so there is no regular classes, but still using this technology, we can communicate the thing exactly what we want to the students. And if there is a normal communication, automatically there is the there is high way of developing the trust. And the next way is by trusting yourself. So for example, if I don't have trust in me of delivering the session, I think I can't make you understand what I am communicating. So let's first have trust in ourselves. So apart from that, there are some more tips for the positive environment given in the slides are like start the year enthusiastically. So actually we need to show this enthusiasm in everything we say and do. Anyway, let's say let's always have a better have a smile in our face and let the students see that we are glad to be with them. So this actually gives an outlay of us that we are enthusiastic and we are also happy to be with the students. And the next one is to do our best to maintain an optimistic mindset. So we must be committed to have a positive attitude, that too throughout the year. Keeping a great attitude actually will help us to stay strong and have a successful year. And coming to the slide, so it is to treat your students the same way that you want your own kids to be treated. So this is another point which we have to take care of. So to create a learning environment, we have to treat the students of a classroom in a way that actually we want our own kids to be treated. So this actually will put us in a frame of mind to look for the positives from each students. And the next point is searching the best qualities in every student. So this can be actually achieved by deciding to find good in each and every student. So that too, you can make it as a goal for each day. That today I am going to make it as someone's day. So I am going to select a particular student and I am going to say the best of that students to the whole class today. So once we come into that mind of set, actually that will create another good learning environment in the class. And the next one is take the time to teach and reteach how to's. So anyway, we are going into the class to teach some things and we have to take time for teaching as well as reteaching of how-tos. How-tos in the sense, it's like how to learn, how to behave, how to present themselves, how to work, how to collaborate, and so on. So there are lots of how-tos which we as a faculty need to be taken care of. So we know that the students actually will be playful mind, and so we actually need to teach and reteach to them to achieve our goals. So to get this successful, to get this teaching and reteaching successful, actually we as a faculty need to understand that the students know nothing. So only if we get this mindset, we will always be willing to reteach the students. And the next point is of using inclusive language to emphasize friendship and community. So actually inclusive means using a word actually that makes students feel close to you. Like friends instead of students will actually set a positive tone. So actually it gives a feelings for the students that there are friends in the classrooms. So actually, so that will help the students also to open up to the faculty to get clarified with their doubts. And the final tip in this part is all about taking 5 minutes of me time. So to start off a regular session, it's always better as a facilitator to calm yourself so that we could able to achieve best on that day. So this can be done by using whatever that best suits for you, like meditation, having a cup of coffee, reading a book, or stretching, like anything that works for you. You can use any of those methods to calm yourself for 5 minutes before getting into a session or on a particular day itself. So making yourself calm or making yourself calm will actually help you to prepare for the next session or even the whole days. So these are some of the effective ways of creating positive environment in the classroom that will help the students in.
Sir, so Daya sir, can you hear me?
No, we can't hear, sir. We can't hear you. I can hear your voice only, right? Mr. Narayan?
Yes, sir. I can hear your voice.
Yeah.
I can listen to you.
But we can't hear Dayan's voice.
Daya sir, I think you must be experiencing some network problem.
Dayan, sir? Dayan, sir? Dayan, sir?
Sir, he is rejoining.
Yeah. Dayan, sir?
Sir, he is rejoining. Sir. I just spoke to him. He's rejoining.
Hello.
Dayanand sir has joined with us.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry for this
Yes, sir,
delay.
I can hear you, sir.
So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for this technical issues which happened to me. So let's start the session, right? Just a minute. I am okay. Okay. So we are into the successful transition into workplace part. So actually, successful transition into the workplace means that it's all about making a student skilled enough to work in an organization. So the career readiness is all about inculcating the industry expecting skill to the student. So in single term, the career readiness is making a student skilled enough to work in an organization, work into his career. So the next slide. Okay. So okay. So before getting into career readiness skills. So there are some list of career readiness skills. So before getting into that skill, it's always better for us to have some insight on what skill is. So the skill is just a learned capacity, which means it's not inborn in anyone. So anyone can develop this skill at any stage of life, but only thing which we need to do is we have to give our complete efforts, that is we have to train continuously to acquire those skills. So once we trained adequately, this skill helps us to work a particular job with a minimal energy in a minimal time. So, so the skill is all about helping us to do a particular work with our minimal energy in a minimal time, or both minimal time and minimal energy. Okay, so again, the skill can be of two types, that is specific skill and general skill. This can also be set as hard skill and soft skill. That is, the basic skill which we require to get into a job is called specific skill, or can also be said as hard skill. And the skill which helps us to sustain in that job for a longer period of time is actually called as general skill. It can also be said as soft skill. So here the companies nowadays are looking for soft skilled person for the successful running of their business. So once the students enter into college, actually we teachers are very expertise to train them in the specific skill part of learning. But making them career ready in classroom itself, we have to train them for general skills as well, because that actually plays a huge role for them getting ready for their career. So coming this slide, okay. So although there are number of general skills, let's see some of the important career readiness skills which I have been listed here. Like first one is communication skills. So actually, this is all about the ability to communicate clearly. So communication skill is all about the ability to communicate clearly. So the communication can be both of oral or written, but we have to communicate clearly. So it should be like how a person can communicate clearly to the other person within the organization as well the persons outside the organization. So a company normally will look for this type of person who could able to communicate clearly to others. For example, uh, so imagine what happened if a nurse couldn't gather accurate information from the patients, like their health history and symptoms, and communicate it clearly to the doctor. If a nurse couldn't communicate the symptoms and the health history clearly to the doctor, actually a doctor can't treat properly to the patients. So this small example will give you a clear understanding of how the communication is important. So, and our next skill is problem solving skill. Okay, so the companies generally expect the candidates to analyze issue, make decision, and overcome the problems. So the companies generally want their candidates to be expertised in solving problems. So there may be some issues. So they have to make decisions by analyzing certain issues and how they are overcoming those problems. So here the candidate should be skilled enough to obtain the data. So they have to be skilled enough to obtain the data as well as interpret it using the knowledge and facts to get a solution. For example, So consider a researcher. So if he uses these problem solving skills effectively, so the output he provides will speak for itself. Okay, so next one is the research and investigation skill. So people with this skill will use number of sources for information to come to an opt conclusion. They will be just involved in investigation. So actually they will generally investigate to understand the root cause of any problem. So like a production manager who actually needs to understand the reason for the shortfall or increase of production in that that day. So if you need to understand the shortfall of the production on that day, actually he need to understand the root cause of the problem. So to understand the root cause of the problem, generally they will be going for investigation skill. And the next skill is teamwork. And this is to create a team effort towards the success of organization. Here the individual have to be ready to work together with his employees as well as the customer. He has to teamwork in the sense he has to concentrate both his co-employees as well as outside the organization. He has to also work together with the customers for having a successful performance of that organization. For example, like a human resource manager. So a human resource manager has to work together with his supervisor to understand the employee's concern and compensation. So only if he works together with his co-workers, so he could produce a better output for the organization. And this one is the skill is information management skill. So here, the individual have to be skilled enough to apply the information creatively. So to specific problem or task based on the appropriate standards. So here, as said, so individual has to be skilled enough to apply the information creatively. Okay, for example, what if a driver don't know how to understand the signboard? Okay, so there will be the information in the board, but the individual's effort has to be he has to understand what exactly that means. So only if understanding the information given and how better we could manage that information, that actually will help us in the betterment of the organization. Okay, so the next skill is designing and planning skill. In this skill, the individual should be skilled enough to set realistic goals. He also has to be skilled enough to schedule and manage time effectively. So once if he could able to manage the time and if he could able to fix the realistic goals which they can in the sense that team can achieve, so that actually will fall under the designing and planning skills. So the next skill is listed here is leadership skill. So this skill is all about influencing others to achieve the common goal of organization. So actually this comes under interpersonal skills too. So interpersonal skill in the sense how well a person individually can mingle with others, how well a person can influence other persons, how well a person can support to other person. So this actually comes under interpersonal skills too, but it's this is a part of leadership is also a part of the interpersonal skills. So as a leader, he should be able to assess and manage his emotion as well as the emotions of other. Only if he could do that, so that can be actually a better leadership skills. And the final skill in the list is career management skill. So this skill is mainly to understand about oneself. So how well I can manage myself. So understanding one's strength. So understanding my own strength, understanding my weaknesses, my career goals. So in simple, making one know who he is. So actually this will helpful for an employee when he goes for the next level of job or when he shifts to next job. So by understanding himself, he can better place himself where he best fits. So these are some of the skills which we need to train to the students during our classrooms itself for them to be career ready. So these are some of the career readying skills. Okay, so next one. Okay, so how these skills can be trained? Actually, this is very simple. Now we are in this slide, we are just going to relate to what we learned in the first two parts. So creating positive environment and positive learning environment. So actually, while creating a positive learning environment, we have adopted certain techniques. So that techniques actually will help to impart this career readiness skills to the students. So brainstorming, group discussion, case studies, role plays, and through all these techniques which we are doing in the classroom actually will improve a student. So this was the same techniques which we can train the students for career readiness itself. So it's like giving responsibilities to the students. So once we give responsibilities to the students, automatically the students will also get trained, or students will also get interested to take responsibilities. So once they take responsibilities, automatically the career readiness skills will be developed within them. So this is was all about today's presentation. I think I have rushed a little fast today, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
So thank you, Daya sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. S. Venkateshan, sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Manonmari Sundarnad University, to propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Naren. Can you see me, Naren? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Sir, yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Shall I proceed?
Sir?
Shall I proceed, Naren?
Yes, sir. You can proceed, sir.
Yeah. Sardar Patel gave us a Bharat. It is now the sound duty of 125 crore Indians to collectively make a Bharat. The idea of sustained and structured cultural connect between denizens of different regions was mooted by our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji during the Rashtriya Ekta Divas held on 31st October 2015 to commemorate the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. The unity in diversity of our nation to maintain and strengthen the traditionally existing emotional bond between the people of Tamil Nadu and Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh states. That is Ek Bharat. Under Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat, Bardhiyan University, Coimbatore, in association with Manonmaniam Sundarnad University, Tirunelveli, jointly organized today webinar on crafting learner potential through career counseling for the students and faculties of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. Appreciation can make a day, even change a life. I am here to propose vote of thanks. As well, our greatest Tamil poet Thiruvalluvar states, Bayamtukka செய்த உதவி நயன்துட்டின் நன்மை கடலின் தீவு. Its meaning, if we weigh the excellence of a benefit which is conferred without weighing the return, it is larger than the sea. I am happy and indeed endeavored to propose vote of thanks to all those involved and witnessed it as a memorable and successful event. I would like to express my gratitude to my Honorable Vice Chancellor from K. Pichumani, Mohan Maniam Sundarnad University for his inaugural address, and a special gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Kaviraj, Bardhiya University, for his presidential address and Register of Bharatiya University for their valuable guidance, support and valuable presence in this webinar. I also thank Professor Rupa Gunasthelan, coordinator of RUSA, for her support and valuable presence in the event. Today my words are not enough to express my gratitude to resource persons of Bharatiya University, Professor Vimala and team, the Department of Extension, Career Guidance and Student Welfare. Past two days sessions, day 1 and 2, session 1 and 2 handled by Professor Vimala, career preparation for future skills and lifelong learning for faculty proficiency. The J2, Dr. Sadasivam handled the session 1 about counseling skills. Dr. C. Dayanand, Assistant Professor, handled session day 1, session 2, opportunities for higher education, and day 2 for session 3, classroom readiness for career preparation. Mr. Narendra Ratnaraj, research scholar, handled the session 3 for day 1 and our preparation for central government exams. And also I thank to Dr. Sonu Aravindan for his excellent technical help for carrying out this webinar. On behalf of the organizing team, I would like to thank all for being here for these 2 days and for their enormous effort to train the participants on today's webinar. I will fail if I don't thank my partner, Professor Dr. A. Vimala, the main key person of this program. She is such a simple person and a woman of principles. She is such a wonderful person to work with. She took all pains to organize this 2 days webinar in a grand manner. Myself being in off campus out of anxiety, I troubled her a lot, but she was cool and diligent in carrying out their work. I feel the team is lucky to be under her umbrella and even I envy of them. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. And we have been fortunate enough to be backed by team, motivating and dedicated research scholars and technical people of MSU and Bharatiya University. Last but not least, I appreciate and thank the participants for their involvement and cooperation. Without you, we can't succeed the program. I can't thank enough for their involvement they have shown and willingness they expressed in this webinar. Jai Hind. Thanks, Mr. Naren and the team. Mr. Naren?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If any announcement is there,
Sir,
any announcement is there regarding certificate?
sir, this is the feedback link, sir. Feedback, dear participants,
Yeah.
this is the feedback link.
Students, you can fill the feedback link and get your certificates soon. Thanks for your hard cooperation. Thanks for the entire team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Actually, Naren can give some update on this. He'll be issuing the certificates to the participants also.
Sure. Thank you, Professor Dayanand.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You are excellent information regarding the career guidance.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. We will meet soon again.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you, participants. Thank you.
Dear participants, you can go through this link tinyurl.com/feedback EDSB. You can fill this form and your certificate will be emailed directly to you.